There's a lot of more important things we could be doing, you feel me, than renaming the square.
A waste of money and time.
All it does is cost us money, and it doesn't do anything.
I just don't like the way things are right now. I think we need change in this leadership.
Why change it all of a sudden? It just doesn't make any sense.
Like, what the is Sankofa?
Sankofa, it's a word from Ghana that means to reflect.
Oh yes, I'm all for it.
Yonge-Dundas helped abolish the slave trade in Britain.
Sick and tired of people trying to undo history.
I understand why we need to change the names, but I feel like there are a lot of other things in the city that money could be going towards.
Crazy. I have no words, yo.
Sarah Stock for Rebel News. I'm at Yonge-Dundas Square, which is soon to be renamed Sankofa Square. As of yesterday, the city voted to go through with this, even though, according to polling, 72% of Toronto residents disagree with the name change. The reason the city council is saying they want to change the name is because they're calling Henry Dundas, who Dundas Street is named after, a racist, even though Henry Dundas was actually a slavery abolitionist.
Black people pay taxpayer dollars too. So God forbid we put a couple of dollars towards a truth and reconciliation to hold space for community members who have long been disregarded and discarded in violent and traumatic ways.
The city council is saying they're trying to rewrite history and saying Henry Dundas didn't abolish slavery quickly enough, so instead they're replacing that name with Sankofa Square. Sankofa is a word from Ghana, from the Akan tribe, which means to look back or to reflect. So we're supposed to be reflecting on this racist legacy that just doesn't exist. Quick note, actually, the government of Canada has recently introduced a travel warning to Ghana because of activity involving the Akan tribe and crime, violence, and terrorism in the region. So is this really a legacy that we want to be reflecting here in Toronto? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure it has anything to do with Canada either. The city has been wasting so much time and resources on this renaming process, which is set to cost more than $350,000, but anywhere up to $1 million just to rename the square. The city's claiming that this money will come from corporate sponsorships, but so far it doesn't look like anyone has volunteered to be a part of this renaming process, because being involved in something like this would be as embarrassing as being associated with the Bud Light controversy. The polls show that Torontonians do not agree with this renaming, and I honestly strongly doubt that most of them would even start calling it Sankofa Square after the name change. I think it's always going to be Yonge-Dundas Square, but let's hear from Torontonians themselves and see what they have to say. Did you know that this square is going to be renamed Sankofa Square?
Yes.
Do you think that's a good idea? Do you want to see the name change?
No, I don't agree with having a person's name used that stood for what he stood for, but the city can't afford.
I don't know if that's such a good idea just to change the name. I think just keep it the way that it is. It's been like this for forever. So why change it all of a sudden? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, I think it should stay Yonge-Dundas. Because no one's going to say, what's the new name?
Sankofa Square.
No one's going to say that and be like, yeah, I want to come down here. Like, what the is Sankofa?
Personally, I honestly don't care.
Well, I've been living in Toronto off and on since 1974. I have never heard that Dundas is associated with slavery or in any kind of, unlawful act. Like, I don't think anybody knows what the history is, really. So I think this is kind of a false issue. It's not in the public consciousness and never has been. I think it should stay the way it is.
Yonge-Dundas Square name is quite iconic.
Dundas Square is Dundas Square. That is nonsense, and I don't approve.
What do you think?
Why not? I don't care. Yeah, I really don't care.
We're changing the name, even though damage is already done. Like, they're giving them like crumbs kind of with the name. It's like, I don't think they really want that.
Sankofa, it's a word from Ghana that means to reflect.
Oh yes, I'm all for it.
If this is significant for the people in Toronto, I don't understand why they would rename it.
To wipe it out is to pretend that it never happened. And that's even more disgusting than what really did happen.
I think it's horrible. Everything's ruined. I think Canada's no longer the same.
You like the new name?
Yeah.
Sankofa Square. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's diverse. I like it.
I understand why we need to change the names, but I feel like there are a lot of other things in the city that money could be going towards. We have a really big unhoused population. That would really be great if a lot of the money could go there.
What do you think about them renaming the square?
It's whack.
I lived here my whole life.
right? Like to spend all that money when you could be spending it on the homeless or providing homes. I don't get it.
The government just wants to spend $5 million to name stuff, and yet guys are living on the street. Right there. Turn around. Like, we can't use the money for that?
The city council is saying that Henry Dundas was a racist. If you know anything about history, Henry Dundas helped abolish the slave trade in Britain.
Sick and tired of people trying to undo history.
Change history.
History is history. It doesn't mean we have to accept it and live by it, but leave it be.
Right or wrong, it's history.
I don't see why not. I mean, clearly, people want it to be renamed, and they had a whole team of people that went and changed it. So, I mean, I feel like as long as they put the research and effort into it, I think it sounds nice.
So I know the city council did vote on it, but 72% of people in Toronto from a poll they did actually disagreed with the name change. Does that change your opinion or at all? Anything?
Honestly, I mean, I can see why, because it's been named this for so long. It's the name of the street.
I don't like it.
You don't like the idea?
They should just keep the name, you know what I'm saying? Why not? It's been the same name. Yeah, just keep it.
They're saying that Henry Dundas, who was named after, was a racist.
No. Crazy. I have no words, yo.
Just too much of this shit.
Sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. Just keep it the way that it is, because there's nothing wrong with the way that it is right now.
You think there's more important issues?
There's better ways to spend the money. Homelessness. There's so many needs in the city right now. I can't see spending millions of dollars renaming a square.
Do you think that people are still going to call it Yonge-Dundas Square after they change the name?
I would.
I don't know. I'd just say Eden Center.
If I was Aboriginal, I don't think just a name change of a famous place is what is that going to do for me?
Well, it's politics for you.
I think there's bigger issues the city could be focused on.
Exactly. What are they saying? $13 million? I think they're talking. That could be better spent.
I think it's important that people understand the intention of it, but I mean, people are going to keep calling it what they keep calling it. It's same old type thing.
Call that a waste of time.
I lived my whole life. Who is Dundas? I don't know him, right? And I'm a Canadian.
People don't give a shit.
Are you still going to call it Yonge-Dundas Square?
Absolutely.
Just from visiting Yonge-Dundas Square, we see homeless people everywhere. We see crime, drug deals going on. It's dirty, it's disgusting. But looks like our city council is more focused on woke name changes. If you agree that they need to focus more on rebuilding our city and fixing it up, please head over and sign our petition at fixourcities.com.